All right, today we are diving into a question that seems to be popping up everywhere. It's a huge paradox at the very center of this whole AI revolution, and it really gets you thinking about how our economy is supposed to work.
So let's just start with this question right here, because it perfectly sums up what we're talking about. It's from a Reddit user, and it's one of those things that's so simple, it's brilliant. If AI takes all the jobs, which means it takes all the paychecks, then who is actually going to buy all the stuff that AI is helping make? It's like a snake eating its own tail, right?
You know, for a long time, this was the kind of thing you talk about in a philosophy class or see in a sci-fi movie. Well, not anymore. We are now seeing real hard economic data that shows this paradox isn't just a theory. It's actually starting to happen. Let's look at the numbers.
And that brings us to the first really big idea for today, something called the Great Decoupling. It's this growing gap between two things we always assumed went hand in hand. Companies making a ton of money and a healthy job market for the rest of us. They're starting to go in opposite directions.
Okay, first up, get a load of this number. Since ChatGPT was launched, that moment when AI really exploded into the public consciousness, the S&P 500 index has just shot up by a whopping 53%. From the outside, it looks like the economy is absolutely crushing it.
But, and this is the kicker, during that exact same time frame, job postings have tanked by 25%. Think about that. The stock market is soaring to new heights, while the actual opportunities for people to get a job are falling. This is what that decoupling looks like in the wild. And it gets even crazier when you zoom in on the tech industry itself, the very heart of the AI boom. IT stocks, they've literally doubled, a 100% gain. At the same time, job postings for computer-related jobs have been slashed by more than half, down 53%. The industry that's creating all this wealth is also the one shedding the need for human workers the fastest.
So, you might be wondering, where is all this growth actually coming from? Well, it turns out it is incredibly concentrated. The Magnificent Seven, we're talking about a tiny handful of tech giants leading the AI charge. Their profits jumped 26% last quarter. And the other 493 companies in the S&P 500, they grew by just 2%. It's a few AI-powered behemoths dragging the entire market upward, which totally masks what's happening for everyone else. So you gotta ask, right? Are CEOs and business leaders just being completely short-sighted? I mean, don't they realize they're slowly getting rid of their own future customers? Well, it's a little more complicated than that. They're kind of trapped in a system of incentives that forces their hand.
This comment from another Reddit user just nails it. The pressure these companies are under is immense. They're not thinking about what the economy will look like in 20 years. They're fighting to survive the next 18 months. If your competition starts using AI to cut costs and innovate, and you don't, you're probably not going to be around in 5 years. It's a mad dash for survival, not a long-term strategic plan.
This is a classic idea in economics. It's called the tragedy of the commons. Imagine the shared resource is just the entire pool of customers who have money to spend. Every single company, acting logically in its own self-interest, I'll cut labor costs with AI, is chipping away at that shared pool of customers, which in the long run hurts everyone.
And our whole system is basically built to encourage this kind of short-term thinking. First, you've got this principle of shareholder primacy, where the legal duty is to make as much money as possible for shareholders right now. Then, executive bonuses are tied to how well the company did this quarter, not 5 years from now. And a lot of investors, they're just speculators. They'll dump the stock in a heartbeat. If things look shaky, they don't care about the long-term health of the company.
Okay, so if we just let this trend play out, where do we end up? This is where the debate gets really intense, and two big ideas keep coming up: universal basic income, or something, well, a lot darker.
And that brings us to universal basic income, or UBI. It's probably the most talked about idea out there. On one hand, you have the promise, right? The idea is we could tax the insane profits from AI and then redistribute that wealth to everyone. It would be like life support for capitalism, a way to share in all this new productivity. But then there's the other side, the peril. Critics worry that UBI could just become a tool for social control, that we'd be accepting this slow decay of society that could lead to a weird kind of neo-feudalism, where almost everyone is dependent on handouts from a tiny, super-rich tech elite.
So, is that it? Is our future just a choice between UBI and some dystopian nightmare? Well, hold on. Before we get too carried away, let's look at what the data says is actually happening to jobs in the real world right now.
The story is a lot more nuanced than just robots are taking all the jobs. Now check this out, because this is really surprising. Research from BBVA found that between 2012 and 2022, the industries in Europe that were most exposed to AI actually had the fastest job growth. Yeah, you heard that right. It feels totally backward, doesn't it? But it suggests that AI isn't just a simple job killer.
And here's why. It's because AI affects our jobs in basically 3 different ways. 1, it creates totally new jobs that didn't exist before, like a prompt engineer. 2, it does replace certain repetitive tasks. But 3, and this is the most important one for now, is something called complementarity. That's when AI acts as a tool that helps us, that enhances the jobs we already have and makes us way more productive.
And for right now, that is the bottom line. The evidence we have so far actually points to a positive net effect on the job market overall. The biggest force isn't replacement, it's AI acting like a co-pilot, a collaborator that helps us get better at what we do. So what does all this mean for us? It means the rules of the game are changing. The most valuable skills are shifting. It's less about the purely technical stuff that can be automated and more about the things that make us uniquely human. Creativity, critical thinking, teamwork, emotional intelligence. These are the things that AI, at least for now, is really bad at.
And that really leaves all of us with the final ultimate question. Are we going to build and use AI in a way that augments human ability, making us smarter and more capable? Or are we going to get into a race to fully automate humans right out of the picture? The choice we make as individuals, as companies, as a society is going to define everything that comes next.